Good evening. On behalf of the Scottish Brass Band Association, may I extend a very warm welcome to this very special and unique live-streamed concert of the National Youth Brass Bands of Scotland 2021. My name is Carrie Boakes and I am both the President of the Scottish Brass Band Association and the Course Coordinator of our National Youth Brass Bands. And I'm very proud to have spent a successful week here, making music and watching our young people grow and develop, re-establishing friendships after a long and hard 18 months of being apart, and really developing into what has been a great set of musicians. Very much to be proud of, and indeed you at home, I hope, are proud too. The bands are ready. They are eagerly awaiting in the wings, and so without any further ado, may I take the opportunity to thank you for joining us this evening. Please stay with us in the comforts of your own homes for 3 hours of fantastic music making. And starting with our National Children's Band, I'm delighted to introduce their musical director, Mr. Alan Fernie.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this concert given by the National Children's Brass Band of Scotland. My name is Alan Fernie, and I'm the very lucky man who gets to conduct this marvellous ensemble of people. We're delighted to be here for you this evening. We've had a fantastic week in our annual summer course, which thankfully has been resurrected this year in 2021. We've had a ball. This is a wonderful band, 25 young musicians from all over Scotland, from Edinburgh and the Scottish borders in the east, to Campbelltown in the west, from Inverness in the Highlands, to Stranraer, way down the southwest of Scotland. And it's amazing that these people who have never met each other, a lot of them, can come together and make this extraordinary music together. And it's such a privilege to work with them. That opening number was a well-known fanfare from the composer Richard Strauss, Festmusik der Stadt Wien, festival music for the city of Vienna. It was written in the late 1940s. There'll be a little kind of African theme going all the way through the programme this evening, and we're going to play the first of these African pieces now. This is a delightful tune I heard first when I was in Uganda, and it's quite interesting. We've got one or two lads in the band who have been to Uganda and Kenya, so it's appropriate that we're playing this. I heard it sung with a choir there, and I thought it was beautiful, and decided to arrange it for brass band. Since then, Andre Roux has also taken the tune on board, but we do hope you enjoy our version of Tua Baba. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that. It featured two of our solo players. It featured Izzy Stirling from Stranraer on solo horn and Malcolm Ormrod from Colburn on euphonium. A band full of extraordinary young talents and a real shining testament to the great music education work that goes on here in Scotland, both at their brass bands and at schools. They have just been such a credit to everyone involved. You could argue it's never quite a brass band concert without a march, and we're going to play one now for you. Those bandsmen among you who are watching and listening will be familiar with the march Bandology by Eric Osterling. We're not going to play that one, but we are going to play another march by the same composer. This dates from the 1950s and is called A March for a Festive Occasion. Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed that march for a festive occasion. One of the great things about NYBBS is coming to NYBBS and learning new things, new experiences. And in many cases for us, that means learning new music and music that we normally wouldn't play at our own home bands. So we're going to continue now, again with the African theme, and a wonderful atmospheric composition by the English composer Peter Meakin. This is called Hymn for Africa, and it's inspired by the great statesman of African politics, Nelson Mandela. And it features our two wonderful fiddle players, Amber Gourley and Cara McFadden, but they're going to be playing off stage to give it a wee bit of atmosphere as well. It's a very interesting piece for the band to play this because it uses the band as an instrument, and it's really used for effect. and it's some really interesting effects that Mr. Meehan gets from the band. So we hope you enjoy this Hymn for Africa. give me a minute or two after that one, I think. Thank you very much. After just what I said before that last extraordinary piece by Peter Meakin, the beauty of me for coming to NYBBS when I was a young man was learning new and extraordinary sounds that I'd never ever contemplated before in my own band. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed playing with Newton Grange Band, it was great fun. But when I came to NYBBS, we learned all kinds of extraordinary new music, new sounds, new ideas. And as a young composer, it just blew my mind completely. And I always remember coming back home from my first music camp at NYBBS in 1975, I think it was, with my mind completely blown and a realisation that my life had also changed. And I became influenced by so many things I heard at NYBBS. And I've been lucky enough throughout my career not only to be the conductor of this extraordinary band, but also to compose music for brass bands and arrange music for brass bands. And I was very, very fortunate to receive a commission this year from SABA, who received money from Creative Scotland with their COVID regeneration fund, I think it's called, and we were commissioned, 4 or 5 of us, to write some new tunes for the band. So this is going to be one of these, the first performance of these. It's called A Summer Overture, and it's really all about NYBBS and my experience of NYBBS. Just the atmosphere that was generated back in the 70s, and this feeling of space, of time, but also of learning new ideas. And it was just a magical time. So in 2012, when I was asked back to NYBBS as a tutor, I was delighted to find that that atmosphere still remained. So I wrote this piece very much in the spirit of that, and also influenced by a composer called Edward Gregson, whose music we played a lot, and I suspect he's a big influence on a lot of brass band composers, Peter Meakin included. So Summer Overture, it's in 3 parts. First is a very angular, almost like march statement to open, then a very dreamy nocturne, lovely harmonies, and then we go into the final section. I was talking about new experiences for the young people. Most of our music we play is either in 2 beats to the bar, like the march we just played, or 4 beats to the bar, like the Hymn for Africa we played there, or maybe even 3/4, like most of the music of Henri Roux, for instance, I've just mentioned already. The final section of this has got 7 beats to the bar. And I have to say that the children have just been absolutely extraordinary in adapting to this, okay? Don't try and tap your feet to it. It's a bit kind of wonky. But it's been brilliant learning, it has. And it's been just such a privilege as a composer to hear it played with such spirit. So we hope you enjoy this first performance of A Summer Overture. thank you very much. That piece is respectfully dedicated to my colleague and my friend, the conductor of the reserve band of the National Youth Brass Band of Scotland, who you'll see very, very soon, Mr. John Boakes, who went to NYBBS back in the 1970s, just like me, and was probably just as much influence as I was. As you can see, we've been joined by a remarkable young man here. You're waving, aren't you? This is Angus Crompton. Now, forget all the wonderful achievements that have been going on, all the medals that we're winning for Great Britain at the Olympics. Angus has just this week especially, broken the world record. He's broken the world record for the most sets of sticks dropped in one rehearsal. In fact, in all the rehearsals, he's broken that world record. What an extraordinary young man this is. But as you can see, he's going to lead the band in this next piece. It's another African piece, but this one from Norway, a brilliant brass group there called the Brass Brothers, and one of their trumpet players, Jan Magnaforda, is also an excellent composer. And they're going to play this wonderful laid-back piece called Eyala, which features some soloists from the band doing some improvising, and our world champion, Angus, on the cajon. Take us away, young man. Yes, can you go back now? Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed that wee slice of Africa there via Norway. And we featured our wonderful solo cornet section there. Paul playing improvised solos. We have our principal, Angus Payton, the bumper up, Lewis Miller, our fabulous third man down, and our Hermione, by the way. We always ask the kids questions, and there's always one kid knows all the answers. All of them. And Beth Hutchison knows more than I do. She's absolutely wonderful from Inverness. And a wonderful young man on fourth man down, Mr. Andrew Dixon, who stunned us last night by playing Chopin's Waltz in E flat at our wee concert. Amazing kids, wasn't it? Unbelievable. Brilliant. Fantastic. So that's our solo corner session. How lucky are we? Brilliant. I'd just also like to take this opportunity now to thank a lot of people. First of all, John and Carrie Box for asking me to do this job and trusting me with the job. It's just such a privilege. It's not work in any way, shape or form. But I don't do it all myself. Of course, we have 25 under-13s to look after here, and that's a very difficult job. And there's a gifted house staff involved, Gemma Wilson and Jennifer Cook and Jim Milligan. In fact, Jim has put a double shift in this week because not only has he been looking after the kids, he's in the band on E-flat bass. Big thank you to Jim, everyone, I think, yeah? And Jenny and Gemma, of course. I'd also like to thank the music staff who helped me so much. We've got a great percussion team over the whole course, and this particular band has been looked after very well in the percussion department by Damien Martin and Mark Landon. Thanks, guys. And our absolutely wonderful tutorial staff who just understand how to do this band. It's just such a privilege to know and work and be friends with these people. Mr. Stuart Black. And Mr. Gary Williams. And last but not least, a lady who I see as my right-hand man, if she doesn't mind that term, as my second in command, and somebody just helps me so much all the way through here, not only just at NYBBS. So much so that I thought it'd be great if she could conduct the band this year for one item. So she has. She's told me to talk about it because I know Caroline wouldn't want to talk about it herself. So I will introduce the number and then pass you on to Caroline Farn to conduct. The number she's chosen is actually a piece by a well-known Austrian trumpet player called Thomas Gansch. I believe is a friend of Caroline's, very famous trumpet player who is the lead trumpet with the famous Monozzo Brass. Well worth catching their videos. And this is a composition he wrote for the Monozzo Brass, and Caroline has adapted it for the children's band. I think we can all let our collective hair down with this one, as Caroline comes forward to conduct Blue. Thank you very much, Caroline. What a privilege it is to work. What a privilege it is to work, and with Caroline and the team and all the rest of the guys. They are just. It's such a great sense of brotherhood and friendship here over this week at Strathallan. It has just been a blast, if you don't mind the pun. It's just been lovely to be back playing with these kids. Hasn't it, kids? Hasn't? Can you all say? Yeah. You can all say, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Sadly, we've come to our final number. So, those of you watching at home, your children will be arriving home tomorrow. You're quite welcome to them, actually. We've had them enough. Okay? No, they have just been brilliant. They really have. The house staff have reported that they've just behaved themselves superbly. And musically, they have just been the best to work with. I've learned so much from them. Some things I've learned I'd rather not have learned, but we have learned, all of us. It's been great. So we thought it'd be appropriate to finish with another African number, but this one comes off the way of Glasgow, because it was written by our colleague in the NYBBS, Gareth Bowman, who's the cornet tutor of the reserve section of the National Youth Brass Band of Scotland, and you'll be hearing some more of Gareth's music later on. We really enjoy this one. It's an arrangement of a Swahili song called, and I've got to be very careful here, it's called Umoya. You may have read that a wee bit different in some sources because I got it completely wrong. It's called Umoya, which is the Swahili word for spirit. And I think that sums up this week so much with these guys. Spirit. It's just been marvellous. We hope you've enjoyed our wee spot to the concert. There's lots and lots and lots of more great stuff to come. We are the National Children's Brass Band of Scotland. This is Umoya. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome Nestled in the beautiful countryside of Perthshire in Scotland, you've just watched a performance, a magnificent performance from the NYBBS Youth Band. We're now in the process, as the rain comes on in Perth, of switching the stage over, getting new bums on seats, sorting out music and getting ready for the NYBBS Reserve Band to start their performance. But it's not just about performing on stage here at NYBBS. We've been up to so much more than that, and whilst you're waiting for the band to get ready, you're going to be treated now to a series of mini interview questions that we asked a number of the kids from all three bands during the week. It's just to give you a little bit of a flavour of what else we've been up to whilst we've been here in Perth. So I hope you enjoy, and we will be back very shortly with the NYBBS Reserve Band for the second of tonight's three performances.
My name's Karen, I'm from Shetland. I play for a lyric brass band, and I'm playing the piano cornet in the NYBBS.
My name's Pippa Sterling, I'm from Stranraer. I play for Stranraer Brass and I'm an E-flat bass in the reserve band at NYBBS.
My name is Ryan Borthwick, I'm from Selkirk and I play with Selkirk Silver Band. At NYBBS I'm in the reserve band and I'm sitting solo cornet.
Hi, I'm Mark. I play bass trombone in the senior band of NYBBS. I'm originally from Port Glasgow, where I play bass trombone for the Riverside Youth Band.
Hi, I'm James. I play trombone in the senior band. I'm from the Isle of Man, playing Russian Silver Band. So I've basically come due to our band's connection with Richard Evans. I mean, you can tell lack of a Scottish accent. So.
I'm Lucy. I'm also from the Isle of Man and also play in Russian Silver Band, and I play cornet in the senior band.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm principal E-flat bass player for the senior band. At home I play with Whitburn Heartlands.
We have two new members of the band with us now, Jamie and Isla Blesby from Gala Shields, who are both 10-year-old and twins. Jamie plays the trombone and Isla plays the cornet.
Well, this week really we've just been getting the band together in shape. We've had sectionals, you know, to get every section primed, ready to go for the concert on Friday night. So it's shaping up very well. A lot of catching up. It's been a good 2 years without seeing, you know, friends that are scattered all over the country. There's only so much you can do of FaceTime and Snapchat and Instagram and everything. It's good to be back in reality.
Yeah, I think it's, I found it nice anyway to have the tutoring from, well, the trombone tutor for the senior band's been Brett Baker, and he's excellent. He's really good. So that's been great to have boost my playing and pick me up on maybe technical details I didn't know I was missing, and also the selection of music we're playing is really good to have some challenging stuff to play.
Yeah, I agree with the challenge of the music. It's something that really pushes me out of my comfort zone and is really nice for like a personal achievement to know that I can play that. And the tutoring, the cornet tutor is Richard Poole, and he's amazing. He plays for Foden's, to see someone, you can almost like he's like an aspirational player, like you wish that you could play like him, so it's really motivational.
This week's been absolutely amazing. It's just nice to get back to playing with a band again rather than hearing my own tones. The organiser have been great. They've been making sure they've got an activity every single day. We've had movie nights, we've had silent discos. It's been really awesome, and I'm glad to be back.
Well, the sectionals was probably one of the best things because it was really, we were practicing a lot of double tonguing and stuff, and it really helped me out.
I think it's been rather different, obviously having COVID regulations, but it's just been so good to be back in a group, sitting in a band hall and just performing together.
Catching up with all my friends I've not seen for a long time, and sectionals, which is my favourite.
It's been really fun, just getting together, playing music, just a really nice experience.
Yeah, it has been really fun, as Jamie said, and it's really nice because we've made loads of new friends, and we'll see a lot of them next year in the children's band again, if we do come back.
Probably counting, because I always play at the wrong time.
Definitely the test piece, A Boy. It's been challenging because there's all these different time signatures, and like for me, in my part, I've got on beats and off beats, and then off beats and then on beats. It's been very confusing, especially with the dynamics as well, because you have to play like a 40 piano on an off beat, which is kind of confusing.
We had a silent disco and just see my friends and things.
Probably the silent disco, because everyone really enjoyed that, and it was just really good to do.
Definitely football. You know, football with the boys, and obviously some of the girls joining as well, which is brilliant to see. Well, we had a masterclass with Gareth and Shona yesterday, and Shona played this piece, I can't remember what it's called, but it was absolutely mental. And from the age of 10 to 17, she was practicing for something like 6 hours a day, which that mentality and being able to do that practice for that long to get where she is now obviously pays off. So that's something that you can benefit from that.
It's been great getting back playing with people, just not online and Zoom calls and recording your videos and how to send it.
The silent disco.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was class. It was so good.
Yeah, we had that last night.
Apparently we weren't that silent though.
Yeah, there's some. I think there's a good reason we're all brass players and not singers.
Yeah, I think the silent disco was probably the best thing.
Just listening to the players that have had so much experience throughout their lives is just really inspiring.
Yeah, there are so many great players, and I didn't expect it to be such a great experience with COVID and all the regulations, but the music has been really fun to play as well.
I really enjoyed playing Hungry Hippos in real life. Bit of chaos, but that doesn't matter. It was still fun.
I really enjoy Fives for Brass because it's like a wide variety of different movements, and it's a really new song.
I've got two favourites. Fives for Brass and To Catch a Spark are two of my favourites. You know, in Fives for Brass, it's original, it's brand new. It's beautifully composed by Gareth Bowman. There's loads of sections about how NYBBS is for him and everyone else. One of the sections is called Box's Brilliance Band and Strathallan Views. It's about NYBBS and how it is in general, so it's brilliant.
Our second band this evening are now ready to perform for you, so without any further ado, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our National Youth Reserve Brass Band of Scotland to the stage and their musical director, Mr. John Bolks.
Good evening. This is the National Youth Brass Band Reserve Band in their concert at the end of our weeks-long course. The first piece you heard was a piece called To Catch a Spark. And this piece was a commissioned piece by Saba. Saba commissioned 4 young composers to produce 3 pieces each. And this was part of a COVID relief fund funded by Creative Scotland. And from the 4 composers, we've got some wonderful music, and that was one of the first. So that was a premiere. I think you heard one in the children's band programme as well. There are others to come, so lots of new and exciting things. That first piece just was amazing. The band loved it. The young composer had actually not written much before for brass band, and I think he's produced a wonderful piece that will be heard over and over and over again. So, we're going to move on to our second piece. I'm not going to introduce it because we have someone very special to conduct it. This is a dear friend of mine. I've known him for many years. You could probably say he is Mr. Nibs, and I love him to bits. So I'm going to introduce now Richard Evans, our conductor emeritus, to conduct the next piece, and he will tell you all about it. Richard.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. Very kind of you there. Yes, I'm a very lucky man. As John said, I am the musical director emeritus. Now, I think it's got something a little bit to do with my age. I'm a lot older than anyone here. And I think they treat me as a father figure. I think it's maybe a grandfather figure, but I love it. I love it. I love this band. I joined the band in 1993, so I've been here a long time. But the other 3 conductors are really good. As you've seen John, you saw Alan, and you're going to see Ian later. They're good enough anyway, but I am standing in the background. If they need a little bit of help, I'll try and help. So we're going to play a lovely, well, I've chosen a lovely piece to play. It's called Elegy, and it's in memory of a man called Eddie Noble, who actually was, well, he was 50 years in charge of the committee at Brighouse and Rastrick. And Lee Baker, who was the first baritone player in that band, decided to write a piece in commemoration of his life. And it's a beautiful little piece. It's quiet, but it's lovely. So here we're going to play now Elegy. John, yes. Thank you, Richard. Sorry, I left that home.
Thank you, Richard. That was absolutely beautiful. You still have it in your fingers. It still works. So this band really is the middle band of the three in the sort of pathway to the senior band. And the reserves, it's full of those players who have ambition to play one day in the senior band. I'd love to keep them all. Unfortunately, Richard wants to steal them all for the senior band. But I have to say the band this year has worked extremely hard. It's been a very difficult year with COVID, people not having lessons, not playing in their bands. But from day one, I could tell this band really was going to work very, very hard. And thank you very much, band. You've been absolutely brilliant. Now, we're going to play a piece by the Beatles. 1968, I think this piece was. I actually didn't know it was by the Beatles. It's called Honey Pie. And if you look at the title, it's Honey Pie and it says Lennon and McCartney. But I think Paul McCartney wrote this himself, but I think Lennon had to have his name in there. It's a great little piece. It's arranged by Sandy Smith, again, another ex-NYBBS player. And Sandy saw the programme earlier on. He sent me a little message to say, this is tricky. So we love it, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, they're well versed. So I hope you enjoy Honey Pie. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We had some super playing in the percussion from Scott Crumley. Scott, up you get. Well done, guy. Scott's very much been on his own this week, being the lone percussionist, but we've got some very mature helpers with Mark from the senior band and Damien, who's been helping out the children band as well. So thanks, Mark and Damien. Thank you very much. So I talked earlier on about the first piece and how it was a special commission. NYBBS always has very, very talented people, whether it be tutors or conductors, but especially this year we've got some unbelievable tutors. We had Shona White, who gave a great masterclass the other day. The band were actually blown away by that. And we had another masterclass from our cornet tutor. His name is Gareth Bowman, and he composed a piece. He actually started it maybe 2-3 years ago, and it's for the reserve band. So I'm going to ask Gareth now to come and speak a little bit about his piece, and then he's going to conduct this piece. So welcome, Gareth Bowman.
It's an absolute privilege to be asked to conduct this piece at the concert this evening, and the reserve band have certainly done us all proud, but done me particularly proud with how well they've worked on this piece. This piece is called Fives for Brass, and my main aim for this piece was to compose a piece that would be enjoyable to play, but also enjoyable to listen to, and I hope it ticks both of those boxes. Fives for Brass, there is a link to the kind of concept of five in every single movement, but there is also a story behind it. The first movement is entitled Boakes' Brilliant Band, and that's in dedication to all the hard work that John Boakes has done over the years for NYBBS and in particular for the reserve band, and also dedicated to the reserve bands of past and present, because every year we're absolutely blown away with how well they work on the course and how they sound at the end of the course. We're privileged to be up at Strathallan School, and the grounds here and the scenery around about is absolutely stunning. So the second movement is entitled Strathallan Views. The third movement is named Ewan's Slipped Jig. And that goes back to a few years ago. Ewan came through from Colburn Band and played in the children's band, reserve band, and onto the senior band. And he's a wee bit of a character. And at the course a few years ago, he decided to try to do a backflip off a wall and managed to break his ankle. He then went to hospital, got his leg in plaster, and then came back and won the solo contest the next day. So that's named after Ewan and all his escapades. The next movement is simply just capturing the fun of the course, because at the course we all have lots of fun and have a great week, and the last movement encapsulates the kind of all the emotions of the end of the week. We've had a great week, so we'd like to reflect on that, but also as we leave all our friends who we've made over the years, we're also quite sad and kind of reflect on that as well. So the opening of that reflects that, but then the anticipation builds to the final concert. So it's my privilege to introduce the reserve band to play for you a world premiere of Fives for Brass.
That was an absolutely wonderful performance. I think, you know, the band loved that piece. Most of you said that your favourite piece was Fives for Brass. You know, when the young players come and they say that a piece like that is their favourite, you know that they really enjoy it. And that was 13 minutes long, that piece. So Gareth, thank you so much. I'd like to hear you all giving Gareth another round of applause. And over the years, I always say at a concert, you know, we come with music probably more than we need because we've no idea the standard of the band, and we always have lots of music, and then we sort of get down to where we are. The band have enjoyed all of the music we've brought this year, and that's been fun, hasn't it? Yes. So we're now going to change things a little bit and slow things down. I'm going to play a piece of music called Suo Gan, which is a Welsh lullaby. It's the middle movement of a test piece called A Celtic Suite by Philip Spark. I absolutely love this, but I'm going to dedicate it to somebody. This has been, as I say, a difficult year for us all, and we're so pleased to be here. And NYBBS takes a lot of planning, and it probably starts the minute this course finishes, we'll start planning for next year. So someone who lives in my house has been planning for a long time to put this together, and she's worked so hard. She's worked so hard to get all of the mitigation right and to make sure that we all do things properly. And I've had to listen to her at home, and that's been difficult for me. But yeah, I love it anyway. So we're going to dedicate this next piece to Carrie Bolks, the course director of the National Youth Brass Bands of Scotland. So here we have Suo Gan. So, beginning that piece, we had Angus Ritchie on euphonium. Stand up again, Angus. And Aidan Miller on baritone. Up you get. Well done, gents. Super. What a lovely piece. Absolutely beautiful. So, we're now going to play another one of our new commissions. I need to get the score for this one. Just to show you what it's called, because if my teeth don't work, this might come out as something completely different. So, this is a piece by Cameron Maben, again, one of the four composers who wrote music for us. This, again, is a smashing piece. Pieces I think that we're going to use well into the future. So this is called, I'll have a go, Funked Up, and it's for brass band by Cameron Maben. What a foot tapper that was. Thanks to our principal cornet, Cameron Hamilton. Have another stand up, please. Emma Brown, stand up. And Jamie Colville. Well, we've come to our last piece, but before we do that, this doesn't all just happen with just me standing in front of the band. There's a team behind me, and what a team it is as well. So I'm just going to say a big thanks to them. Hopefully the band will join me in this. So what I'd like to do first of all is thank the tutors. So we have Gareth Bowman, Philippa McDougall, Charlie Farron, Mark Landon, and Damien Martin. So what happens when we come together is that we work out the music, and then the tutors take the sections away and they work with the youngsters and they bring all of this together. So it's not just about me, it's about them as well. So they look after the musical side of things, but somebody has to look after the other side of things, which is not always the easy side of things, especially when you've got two brothers in the bass section. They're actually little angels, Ralph, if you're watching. So, but we need a house staff to look after that. So in the house staff, we have Tom Allen, Father Tom, he's not here. We have Adam Allen. We have Leslie Crumlish. And we have Elaine Roxburgh. So that is Team Reserves. And I'd also, again, like to say a huge thank you to Richard Evans, who always comes, cheers us up, and when I ask him to do anything, he's happy to do that. And this year, he actually did a section for me. So one of our other tutors, Mr. Richard Evans. So the last piece we're going to play is a piece called Music for Jock Tamsin. This is an interesting piece. It's been composed by Alan Fernie, a dear friend of mine, a breath of fresh air in the children's band. They all love him. He loves them, and you can see that the children's band just has a ball every time he's there. But as a composer, he's amazing, and he writes some beautiful music. So this is an interesting piece. Just going to let you know the movements. The first movement is called Naya Fearties, and I hadn't a clue what that means. But I think somebody managed to tell me it was no feart, or not scared. And it's for Carrie. I wonder why Fearties is in the title for Carrie. I think I know why. So it starts off with sitting on a bucket. That's the first thing it says in the piece. And then rambunctiously. I'll just put it down here so I can turn it over. And then we have a little section that says, we've got a little quartet that plays. So we have Willie. We then have Wee Eck. We have Soapy Suitor. And we have, where is he? Fat Bob. Stand up, Aidan. Who could ever call you fat? Have a seat. Now these are all characters from Our Willie, and if you don't know what that is, it's a well, what is it? It's a cartoon. Yeah, I suppose it is, or something that we used to read. But the best one I think is for Angus, and he's called Primrose Patterson, which fits very, very well. The second movement is entitled Inch Keith, and that's for Nigel. And this is Nigel Durno. I think probably Alan knows more about that, but Nigel is the owner of Just Music, and again, he does a lot of work for NYBBS in producing some of the music that we play. And then the final one is entitled Was Like Us, and this is for Gareth Bowman, our good friend here. And the beginning says, kick the coo. And we had no idea what really kick the coo means, and Gareth was able to tell us that he worked with one of Alan's bands and they were doing double tonguing. So he was going, to coo, to coo, to coo, to. So that's where kick the coo came from. So this is our final piece. It's called Music for Jock Tamsin by Alan Fernie, and I hope you enjoy it.
So we're here with Alan Fairney just now, who has been working with the kids band for a large part of this week. Alan, how has this week been for you? It's one of the first weeks when we've come back after COVID and lockdown. What's your thoughts on how this week has gone?
Well, obviously we were a little bit uncertain and a wee bit cautious about how things would progress, but it really has just been a revolution. This year's children's band have been magnificent. They're quite small in numbers, but the kids that we do have are just terrific. They've worked so hard and made so much progress, and just the smiles on the faces every day say it all for me. They're having a ball.
What aspects of the work that you've been doing do you think have been the most beneficial for the kids this week?
Well, I think most of them are just delighted to be playing in a band again, playing inside and playing in an ensemble along with colleagues. That is a huge thing for them. We've set them all kinds of different challenges. I always think NYBBS should be about playing music that they would normally play in their own brass bands. So we have set them some interesting challenges, and they've just risen brilliantly to all of them.
So it's Thursday afternoon. I've only been here for a couple of hours, and already I'm hearing all sorts of gossip about silent discos and Hungry Hippo. There's not just the music this week, there's other things going on as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how people seem to be enjoying it?
Yeah, the Scottish Brass Band Association worked very hard to provide a lot of pastoral care for these kids. We have a magnificent house staff who work tirelessly with the children, and there are also great social activities planned, like the silent disco, which I didn't go to, but I did witness the human Hungry Hippos, which I want to see again. In fact, I was quite disappointed I didn't get a shot myself.
Brilliant. And is there anything else that you'd like to say to family, friends, parents at home before they move on to the next part of this evening's programme?
The children have just been magnificent. They've been great fun to work with. They have been a credit to their teachers, their schools, their bands, and their parents as well. They have been brilliantly behaved. They've worked very hard. They've just been great fun, and I've learned loads from them. It's been a great week.
Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A good evening and a good day tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hello, my name is John Boakes, and I'm the conductor of the Reserve Band of the National Youth Brass Band of Scotland. I've been involved with NYBBS since 1985 and have worked with the Children's Band, the Reserve Band and the Senior Band as a tutor. I now enjoy conducting the Reserve Band, which this year consists of about 45, 46 young people from all over Scotland. This year has definitely been a very difficult year. COVID has caused many issues, one of them being that brass players have not been able to play in their bands, and we were determined somehow to get our band together this year. NYBBS as an institution has been going on for over 60 years, and it's something that we feel is important to keep going, especially for our young Scottish players. So we planned the course, and we were determined to have it face-to-face and not virtual. And we're here. We've got 3 bands. We've got our children's band, our reserve band and our senior band. and that is the NYBBS family. So very happy, as I say, to be here. The young people have been brilliant. They've engaged, they've done everything that's needed to be here. They've practiced and they've made some great music, and I'm confident that the concert tonight is going to be an absolute cracker. So I'm pretty sure you're all going to enjoy it. Next year, hopefully, we'll have our course in 2022 and the numbers will increase because the young people that are here this year have enjoyed it so much. And once you go to NYBBS, you'll always be back at NYBBS. So here's to the future, and sit back and enjoy our concert. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ian Porthouse. I'm the musical director of the senior band, senior NYBBS band. I'm also the musical director of Tredegar Town Band and the head of brass band studies at Royal Birmingham Conservatoire. And it's actually 2 years since we were last here in Strathallan School in Perth. It's a long time, and but we're absolutely delighted to be back here making music live with these wonderful young brass players.
Ian, by all accounts, it's been an incredibly busy week. What does that look like for the senior bands? Take us through what they've been working on this week and what you've been doing with them.
Well, we're a little down on numbers, understandably, this year. The band's a little bit smaller than it normally would be, but the repertoire I chose was deliberately a mix of some lighter music and quite a lot of new arrangements that I've had done over the last couple of years, and quite a big test piece called A Boy, as in a boy that floats in the sea. And I think the band have really taken to that task well. I wanted to choose music that was generally uplifting and joyful, and they've certainly responded to that. And the progression from the first day has been absolutely remarkable. We're Thursday now. We've got a big rehearsal tonight. I'm hoping that's really just going to be a run through of the performance, because they've really got to grips with the music in an incredible way to see them grow from, because a lot of these players haven't played very much at all. Most of them have not played in any ensemble music for the last 15 months. So the stamina issue was always a worry, but as young players do, they always surprise you and raise their levels to whatever we require them to do. And it's been, as usual, a pleasure to work with them.
I've been hearing that you've joined me just now for this interview for a workshop with a little bit of a twist. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's an hour slot this afternoon for the tutors to work with the delegates on some maybe individual aspects of their playing. So I said, if there are any of you interested in conducting at all, we can do a session. And normally you maybe get one or two that are interested, and we ended up with 8, which was brilliant. Some who've had a little experience already of conducting, and some who were just interested into how the technique works, what the role of the conductor really is, and as you said, looking at it from the opposite side of the baton, I guess, even though I got easy baton. I think the best noise I've heard all week was not actually a musical one. It was there's some lovely benches where we can sit in the evenings just outside the chapel here, and they had the silent disco last night, which I have to say wasn't very silent, but just the sound of young people having an absolute ball of a time was worth, everybody just getting together this week just to hear that. It was absolutely brilliant, and to see I think the fact that people haven't been in groups for a long time. It took a day or so for that sort of dynamic to get back to normal, and then just to see them grow as a group, especially we've got the 3 bands and they've been separate within their groups, but the camaraderie developed within the week has been absolutely marvellous.
I know you've got a busy evening as well. Thank you very much for
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Okay.
Before the senior band take to the stage this evening, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the children and the Scottish Brass Band Association and NYBBS by watching along tonight, by sharing with your friends and family. There's been a lot of work in the background in the last couple of years on behalf of the Scottish Brass Band Association to try and provide live coverage of our events and of our competitions. It's important for us to try and make it easy for people to join in, to be involved in the action, even when they're not there at an event. And we hope that that is something that is working for people. It takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of work in the background to make this happen, but we want to make sure that what we do provide is right for our viewers. So we would really like to hear from you. We would like to hear what your thoughts are about the coverage of NYBBS this year, and we would like to hear if you've got any thoughts or any ideas for how we might be able to do things differently going forward, just to keep it relevant and to keep it enjoyable for people at home. Also, putting an event on like this and providing coverage does come at a little bit of a cost to the Scottish Brass Band Association. If it's something that you're enjoying and it's something that you think is going to give value going forward, then we would really appreciate it if you would consider making a little donation just to support that work going forward and to make sure that we can keep bringing new, fresh, engaging content and coverage of our live events. There's going to be a link just at the bottom of the screen here just now as I'm walking around and talking to you. So feel free just to put that, click the link if it's something that you feel that you can do and you want to do. If not, then just support us by sharing videos, sharing the content that we put online and giving us that feedback so that we can keep doing more to try and bring these events to you, even if you can't get to us. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this evening's performance. Having listened to rehearsals and been here most of the week, I'm sure you will. The band are sounding absolutely fantastic. So have a good night and thank you again so much for joining us over the last hour or two.
It looks like our final band of this evening are ready to begin their programme for you, and I can't wait to hear them perform. I'm delighted to welcome to the stage for our final concert of 3 tonight, the National Youth Brass Bands of Scotland, with their conductor, Mr. Ian Porthouse.
Good evening and welcome to the final concert of this trio of concerts from the National Youth Band of Scotland organisation. It's actually 2 years since we were last here in this very hall, which is it's a little bit of a frightening thought when you think about it now, but it's absolutely brilliant to be back and working with the senior band of NYBBS. Absolutely superb. That music was, as Alan Fernie chose for his programme to begin, the music of Richard Strauss, probably for me the finest writer for brass, orchestral brass. So that's a lovely new arrangement by Andrew Austin. He was the bass trombone player with Tredegar Band. So we've got a very nice link there with a fabulous new arranger. The second piece we're going to play is music by Wilfred Heaton. When I was choosing the music for this concert, it's always difficult to pick music that you think will be suitable for the band, because we never know exactly the band we're going to have until we're here, and especially after a 2-year gap, it was a really quite a daunting prospect. So we picked a lot of music, and actually, how many pieces off the list are we playing? All of them. So that's a credit to you. So well done. Wilfred Heaton, for me, one of the finest composers for brass band. This is a march we're going to play. It's called The Golden Pen. It's based on an old West Indian folk song, which is very simple, but in typical Heaton fashion, the piece is not straightforward at all. It's very tricky, and I think one that you've enjoyed. You can see they're all very well trained. And so here we go. This is Wilfred Heaton's The Golden Pen, edited by Paul Hindmarsh.
So, The Golden Pen by Wilfred Heaton. We're now going to feature our first section of the band. This is our tenor horn section, who are small this course. Obviously, our numbers are a little down, but the quality is very, very high, and they're ably helped by their tutor, Shona Wade. Shona, obviously a legend of the tenor horn, and especially in Scotland. There she is. She's hiding behind the stand. Shona and I were colleagues, obviously, at Yorkshire Building Society many, many years ago, but she's done an amazing job with these young players. It's probably been a pleasure to work with them, Shona, I would imagine, is it? They're like little sponges, they are. We've chosen music arranged actually by another Scottish tenor horn player, an amazing horn player himself, Sandy Smith. Music originally written by Paul Lennon and John McCartney. John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Good job this is not live, isn't it? So to feature Andrew McMillan, Thomas Cobain, and Shona Wade. Here we go with Here, There, and Everywhere. Now it gives me great pleasure. I would like to say we're going to welcome a guest soloist, but it's a vocal soloist, and it's our boss, Carrie Boakes. This is a piece, again, I think the original arrangement was made for Yorkshire Building Society in the late 90s, I think. And I think it actually featured Shona Wade on many performances, which she was obviously very happy to do. You were the only Scottish one in the band, so you didn't have much choice, really, did you? It's a brilliant piece, 3 movements. It's called Alloway Tales, and to recite the Robert Burns poems, please welcome Carrie Boakes.
Duncan Gray came here to woo, ha ha, the wooing oat. On blithe Yule nicht when we were fou, ha ha, the wooing oat. Maggie kust her head fu high, looked asclaimed in unca sky. Gat poor Duncan stand aby, ha ha, the wooing oat. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, I'll sing thee a song in thy praise. Thy Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. The deal come fiddling through the tune and danced a wall with exciseman. And ilka wife cries, "Auld Mahoon, I wish you luck, the prize man." The deal's a war, the deal's a war, the deal's a war with exciseman. He's danced a war, he's danced a war, he's danced a war with exciseman.
Thank you, Carrie. You can see why neither me or Mr. Evans attempted to do the vocals in that, and you'll never ever get us to do that. I mentioned Mr. Evans because it's now my great pleasure to welcome I would say my old boss. I think he's always been my boss, really. The conductor emeritus of the National Youth Brass Band of Scotland, the one and only Richard Evans.
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to conduct two pieces, another elegy and then a march. But I think some of you would like to know, I better turn and face this. Yeah, sorry. You'd like to know our history, because we have a history together. In the mid-1980s, once a month I used to go up to Keswick and conduct the Cumbria Youth Band, and we had some very, very good players in there. You would know some of them anyway. And I remember going up one day, and there was a young man playing principal cornet. Of course, it was Ian, and I thought, wow, this fella's got it. And amazingly, I said, he was 16, so he was just finishing school, and he needed a job. And I said, is it possible, could you ask your mum and dad to come down to my house in Leyland and we can talk? And they came down, and I said, look, I want Ian to come to Leyland Band. And I said, what I'll do, I'll find him, I'll get him a job as an apprentice engineer, and he said, yes, I'd like that. And then his mother said, well, where is he going to live? And he lived in my house for 6 months, didn't you? And then when we got fed up, we sent him to Mum, you stayed at Mum's, didn't you? So, and the rest is history. But I've got to tell you now, it's taken me quite a few years. I've wanted that man to be follow me in on this job and all that time, and I've got him now, and I'm so pleased, yeah. So, we're going to play, actually, the elegy is an older elegy. Again, I would say it was written in the 1930s, early 1930s. It's a bit special, and I would say it's the second movement of a contest piece, and it possibly one of the best ever written, so you'll enjoy Elegy. Let's do the new colonial for a bit of swagger and enjoy ourselves and think what a lovely time we've had together this week we have. Okay, all right, to the back there, ready for swagger? Okay, will you get your bottoms going like that, yeah? No, that's not it. I watched it, that wasn't good, it's very stiff. Yeah, have you ever been a clown? No? That was a joke. Right, come on, make it swing. Ready, and 1, 2. Thank you very much. Come on, boys. You join us. Thank you all very, very much. What a lovely week that's happened. Thank you. Boss? Thanks. Oh,
Thank you, Richard. This is why none of the bands that I conduct, we never do a march in a competition where Richard Evans is conducting, because they never sound quite like that. So we'll just leave that to leave the marches to Richard. Thank you very much, Richard. So we're going to have I think the last of our world premieres for this evening. You're going to hear music from a young ex-member of NYBBS, Iona McVicker, and she's actually, this was the winner of the competition in 2019. Again, I think funded by Creative Scotland. So we've had to wait quite a while to hear this piece. Obviously, it should have been last year, but we have our soloist already. This is Charlie Boakes. I'm sure you've got very proud parents about to hear this world premiere. No pressure. Nobody's heard this music before. It's up to you to sell it to the public. It's a beautiful piece. It's very, very atmospheric to begin, and then in the middle it becomes like a jig, I guess, isn't it? It's only very short in the middle, and then finishes in that lovely reflective mood again. So this is the world premiere of Golden Sands by Iona McVicker featuring Charlie Boakes. Thank you, Charlie. That was absolutely beautiful. Could you all hear Charlie quite clearly from the band? I had the best seat in the house for that one. That was beautiful playing. Can we have another round of applause for Charlie Bolt? It's amazing, isn't it, how one camera can suddenly be more nerve-wracking than playing in front of 500 people. It's a strange thing as human beings, aren't we? Yeah, absolutely brilliant playing. So that's a composer I hope we'll hear much more of in the future, Iona McVicker. We're going to play an arrangement now by, I think, one of the greatest arrangers for brass band, Goff Richards. Goff has taken about 6 tunes and put them into a brilliant medley, and it's simply called Breezing Down Broadway. Great. Thanks, Carrie, for the applause from outside the room. You can take the woman out of the room, but you can't stop her applause. That, I have to say, band, that is one of the best performances I've ever heard of that piece. And I've heard that piece a lot and conducted it. We talked about, just to let our audience know what we were thinking about, we said we wanted to do a fizzer of a performance, and I think we definitely got that. Wow, that was absolutely brilliant. That's what performing is all about. So bravo, band. Well done. We're going to slow things down a little bit, and I think it's quite a nice time for me to mention, you can see we've got a few of our tutors dotted around the band. We have a fabulous team of tutors at NYBBS. I still feel like the new boy, I have to say. It's my second course, but my third year. That's just how it is, isn't it? And the conductors of the other bands, you heard Alan Fernie is just so passionate about what he does. I walked past his rehearsal earlier today, and even on the day of the concert, he's getting every last ounce out of his band. So absolutely amazing. And John just works tirelessly. As he said, he has a few more players than me at the moment. So Mr. Evans is teaching me not only music, but how to get players out of the reserve band as well. So it's public now, Richard. Yeah. Yeah, money. Yeah, use the money. Absolutely. And so our tutors, we've already met Shona Wade, our horn tutor. Shona, could give Shona a round of applause, please? And looking after all of our cornets this year is our star soprano player, Richard Poole, obviously the soprano soloist with the Foden's band. Thank you, Richard, for all the work you've done this week. The man with the most bodies this weekend, we've actually got 5 bass trombones in our band, so I think it's a blessing. Are we saying it's a blessing now? Yeah. Yes. Absolutely brilliant. Brett Baker, Black Dyke solo trombone. And looking after our low brass this week, we've had the pleasure of listening to Les not only play, but his techniques for all sorts of playing, not just the physical playing, but actually building up senses of rhythm and breathing have been fantastic to watch. I'm sure you've all learned a lot. I have actually learned a lot this week by sneaking around the sectionals. You thought I was interested in your sectionals, didn't you? I'm just learning from your tutors all of the time. Leslie. And last, by no means least, probably, again, the busiest man this evening, Mr. Mark Landon has been playing with, I think, all of the bands, but he's managed to manage all of his teams super as ever. He just makes it always look quite easy. So thank you, Mark, for a brilliant job as ever. Mark Landon. So we now turn to the music of Henry Mancini, and I think one of the most beautiful tunes ever written. It's a melody that's featured in the film Breakfast at Tiffany's. The arrangement actually came about. Tredegar Band, we drew the dreaded #1 draw at Brassing Concert, which is at 9 o'clock in the morning. So the theme of the programme suddenly became breakfast, and this was the first piece that was heard a couple of years ago at Brassing Concert in our breakfast-themed programme. But I asked a young composer and arranger, Daniel Hall. Daniel is a cornet player. He's originally from Cornwall, and he actually won the European Composers Competition the last time it was held. He writes very serious music, but is also a great arranger of light music as well. So Daniel's arranged Moon River, and it features our flugel soloists, Rona and Libby. We were saying earlier, it's Rona and Lucy? No, Libby, Tilly? No. So that's why I wrote it down on the front of the score. So it's a beautiful arrangement and features both of our flugel solos. This is Moon River, arranged by Daniel Hall. Thank you, Rona and Libby. Absolutely brilliant playing. We're getting towards the end of our program, so we're now, hopefully the trombones are a little tired, so that the volume of 5 and 7 trombones would, no, Brett says no, it's just going to be just the same. We've chosen music that was featured in the film Sister Act, with Whoopi Goldberg playing the role of the singer who was put into a witness protection scheme and was sent to the convent so she was safe, and then taught all of the nuns to sing. This is the music from the end of the film. This is absolutely, when we were, John and I and Alan, we were thinking about, and with Richard, about music to play. We wanted music that was going to be uplifting and joyful, and I think this is just about, you're not going to get any better than this. So this is our wonderful trombone section to play I Will Follow Him. Thank you, trombones. Absolutely superb. Great job. And it's a good, if you don't feel good after playing that music, you need to check your pulse. Check your pulse. Absolutely brilliant. So for our finale today, we've chosen to play music, relatively new music, only a couple of years old, by a Belgian composer, Stan Nieuwenhuis. And Stan is one of the most, I guess, forward-thinking composers, but always using the sound of the brass band in a traditional way, and then just tweaking things so we get some new sounds. And the title of the piece is A Boy, but that spelling. So as in a boy that floats in the sea. And we might think, as I did, that's maybe a strange material to base a piece of music on. But the underlying message is it's a message of positivism and optimism, which I think couldn't be more appropriate for what these young people have done this week. I think, had you played many of the pieces when we arrived here? No, not many. But they were deliberately either new arrangements or music that I knew you probably wouldn't have played before, because that's interesting, isn't it? I think, I'm not sure if it was John or Alan said that we want you to play music that you probably won't experience with your own regular bands. You want us to do something different when we're here with NYBBS. So, and they've just taken this to. Is this your favourite piece of the concert? No. Brett said, "No, don't say that." It's a brilliant piece. It's a competition piece. I think it was used for one of the sections in the Dutch Nationals contest. It goes through many different moods, from groovy to melancholic, and it's a beautiful melody in the middle. It's a great piece. It starts with this effect of all the waves, isn't it? It took a little bit of work to get the right sounds, but hopefully we've got there. So lastly, before we play this piece, I'd like to thank Carrie Boakes, our boss. Are you around, Carrie? Carrie, thank you as ever. Organising NYBBS, I would imagine, is always a mammoth task. How you've done it this time, I don't know. I still sometimes can't actually believe we're here in person and we've just been looked after and had a lot of fun. Only a couple of small trips to A&E, which is probably quite good on an average. Yeah, we can handle that. Absolutely brilliant. You do it with such a smile, and you're just so energetic. Even if I know the tutors, maybe if they get a little bit tired by about Wednesday, Carrie comes in the room, and I know they all think there's no way I can feel tired when Carrie's doing this. So, thank you, Carrie. I think we'd all like to show your applause for Carrie. And obviously, Carrie has an amazing team of pastoral staff, and they just so friendly. And this, I have to say, this venue in Strathallan, even the school staff they're so welcoming to us. So it's a lovely place to come and spend time. So, anyway, our finale. This is A Boy.
Thank you.